Hey guys, what's up? So today we're playing Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, Grand Theft Auto 5 is the fifth installment. Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it the fifth installment of the Grand Theft Auto series because with the Grand Theft Auto video game series itself is you have to at least get a bunch of games to understand the franchise. Unfortunately, I never did, considering this was the first official Grand Theft Auto game I've ever played when I was a little kid, because I was like 11, 12, or 13 when this game got released. It was made in 2008, so I had to wait till I was like 12 or 13 to get it. But considering Xbox 360s are obsolete, I knew a store that sold them no problem. Now, for my 18th birthday in August, my uncle got me a copy of Grand Theft Auto 4, so I took that for a spin. And Grand Theft Auto 4's graphics are not as nostalgic as Grand Theft Auto 5's. However, there are a bunch of differences with the games itself, like the year gap. You see, Grand Theft Auto 4 was made in 2005, which it took them at least, well, I think it was made in 2004 if I'm not mistaken. But, in my perspective, Grand Theft Auto games take at least 4 to 6 years to completely succeed, as in, it takes at least 4 to 6 years to make a whole video game of it. And, well, Grand Theft Auto 5 took at least till 2008 to make it. So, it was manufactured and getting programmed with all the computer graphics, the 3D effects, all the coding for this one. It had to take at least 4 years tops just to get it to be the game it is today. And, of course, Grand Theft Auto 4 had good... Grand Theft Auto had good... It had good graphics, I must say. You see, when I was a little kid, at the age of 11 or 12, I never even heard of Saints Row. Well, actually, Saints Row was the game I played. I never even heard of Grand Theft Auto. I just thought it was a bootleg copy. But, no. Grand Theft Auto came way before Saints Row. You see, Saints Row is like a real type of... It was a cheap... Saints Row was a cheap duplicate of Grand Theft Auto. It was a cheap knockoff title that had the same graphics, nearly the same storyline that varied out between each sequel. But, except, the differences between the Grand Theft Auto games and the Saints Row games, Saints Row has more vulgar language, more gore, and more violence. And it even has a slight bit of nudity and streaking. I'm not kidding. You know the strip clubs in these games? Well, it has way more nudity than that. And it's also pixelated to where you can't see the graphic effects. Which I'm glad the FCC caught on that. But, yeah, Saints Row on its own is way worse than GTA combined. But on a plus side, in Grand Theft Auto, you can use super jump, get more weapons, go inside places you never thought of you could go into. There are some weapons that you really necessarily can't get unless you've gotten far into the game. Like, in GTA San Andreas, you can get a chainsaw with no problem, unless you beat the game, or got far in it, or unless you use a cheat code for it. Heck, in San Andreas, you can get flying cars, man. I'm not kidding. Flying cars was actually a cheat. And in GTA 4, you can get all the weapons that you can get. You can get all the weapons that you can technically get in GTA 5. Now, I heard you can get a machete in GTA 5, but I'm pretty sure that's just a rumor. Or something that people made up, to entice their buyers for this whole deal. Now, Saints Row has a bunch of really cool weapons. Like, when I was 12 years old, me and my brothers would play Saints Row day after day, night after night. And when we were playing Saints Row 2, which was our favorite of all of them, there was a bunch of places. I think it took place in Chicago, I'm not sure, but it took place in either a likeness to Liberty City or Los Santos. And they had a bunch of restaurants in there that didn't make a lot of sense. Like, there was a drive-in and restaurant knockoff off the burger restaurants, Burger Shot, and of course, Up and Out Burger. There was a knockoff off those two, which was called Freckle Bitches. Yes, Freckle Bitches was the main fast food franchise of the whole series. And of course, every other restaurant there was manufacturing. One in the Spanish part of town, which was called I'm not sure what, but I said Te Puta in there. And there was another part that was a drive-in that has been abandoned for years that was down the road from, I want to say, a drive-in movie theater. And there was one in the airport, which you can't get into the airport unless you do a certain mission. Oh wait, that's GTA. My bad. You can go to the airport at any time in Saints Row, but Saints Row 2 has a different storyline on its own. It has a different storyline on its own, because in GTA, in Grand Theft Auto, you don't escape from prison. In Saints Row 2, that's exactly what you do. You escape prison, and you do whatever the hell you want to. Just don't let the cops fuck you up. Because if you let the cops fuck you up, and the way they can fuck you up is just, you're doing whatever you can to avoid them, to lay low, to give them on the down low. Make sure that you don't get caught by those assholes. Because in that game, the fuzz are not your friend. Especially in this game. Whatever you do, avoid cops at all cost. Because you have to avoid the cops in order to lay low, in order to live a normal life. The storyline for Grand Theft Auto 4, Niko Bellic was an immigrant from Russia. His brother got into some financial trouble. He got involved with gangs, and of course his cousin got caught in the middle of all of it. And now the cops are doing whatever they can to steer low and not get in his way. However, you can go into Burger Shot and Cluckenbell. But another thing is, you gotta make sure that if you're laying low, you gotta make sure that no cops are in your way. You gotta make sure that they are out of your way to begin with. Now, piece of advice. If the cops are ever trying to... If the cops are always after your ass in the game, well, you've got to make sure that you know exactly how to avoid them. So, I understand cheating is against the rules in most video games, but I understand that cheating is one of the main things that's against the rule in some video games. But in this one, it doesn't matter. You can use a cheat. You just don't get rewarded for it. But, okay, here's a piece of advice I can give to all the people who have never even played Grand Theft Auto, or have never even heard of it, or those who have played it in the past. If all of you played Grand Theft Auto 5, or most of the ones before Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, or some of you haven't, if you guys ever get into playing Grand Theft Auto 5, here's a piece of advice I'm going to give you. Now, Grand Theft Auto 5, you really, and I mean really, have to think about, because sometimes you can find yourself in a situation where you are really out of options. Like, say, the cops are on your ass and you got no way, no how, no alibi, no witness. You don't even care they're on your ass because someone calls them on you when they see your face. Well, all you have to do is, now, take note. These cheats really helped me, so they might be some use to you. Like this. This one's a fast run cheat if you play Grand Theft Auto 5. So here you go. The fast run cheat, if you have Xbox 360, are Y, left, right, left, right, LT, LB. Now, don't get mixed up with LBLT. That's where you really goof up. I should know, I goofed up like that a bunch of times. Now, for Super Jump is what always helps me escape in this game. You got left, Y, right, left, right, X, RB, RT. Then bam, you have the Super Jump move. So, this jump makes you jump higher than anybody else. But you always gotta make sure you have a parachute or the invincibility cheat on you, because if you really want to try your best, if you really want to try your best in this game, you gotta do whatever it takes. You gotta do whatever you can. You gotta do whatever you can to avoid this kind of trouble. So, you gotta do whatever you can to survive. This game is mainly about survival, robbing, killing, bank robbing, jewelry heist, car heist, hence the word Grand Theft Auto. But, you gotta try to survive in this world to make sure that you don't end up dead. Now, if someone's on your ass, here's one thing you can do. You want to chase down the truck that has kind of a lift on there. Now, my best bet is to chase them down until they're at a red light. When they're at a red light, you gotta stow away on them, hit the RB like you're ducking for cover, and make sure that you're hiding in plain sight. Because if the cops are on your ass, make sure you're hiding in plain sight. Hiding in plain sight is the main deal. It is the key to dodging the fuzz. It's the exact thing you have to do if you want to avoid the cops. Because cops don't care what you do, they care about what they want. And what they want is putting a slammer.